Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. It is Wednesday, February 14th, Valentine's Day, and Joe Biden, good old Joey, the geriatric, the puppet, the guy that hits a golf ball backwards, falls up a flight of stairs, loses his train of thought all the time, fights with his teleprompter that's undefeated and has been for the last 3 years, is still the worst president in American history. Patriots, it's great to be back with you on this fine Wednesday morning. We got some news to cover here. We're going to jump right into our lead story with Joe Scarborough. Good old Joey works overtime to defend gaping holes in Biden's memory. And we got a clip here to show you. It's pretty wild. MSNBC anchor Joe Scarborough worked overtime on Tuesday to defend President Joe Biden, suggesting that the president's noticeable lapses in memory were no different than similar lapses he noticed in himself. Well, maybe get checked then, pal, because if you're having lapses like Joe Biden, you're probably starting to head down the road of dementia as well. So here's the clip. It's insane. Here we go.
It's John Heilman. We've seen examples over and over again of Donald Trump just losing it on stage here. And you had the whole political world come to a stop. First of all, because for some reason you had the guy, the special counsel, asking, "Hey, what year did your son die?" And supposedly he didn't remember what year his son died. And this was the most damning thing. I said this yesterday, and maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just older people. We've lived a busy and active life, but nobody's closer to me. Nobody's been closer to me in my lifetime than my mom. If somebody asked me in the middle of a deposition, what year did your mom die? I go, I don't know, 2017, 2018, 2019. I don't know. I can tell you everything about it. I can tell you my final word. But again, that, and same thing with Mika and her dad. So the fact, first of all, that he was asking that question. Secondly, that somehow that's the most damning thing, and the Trump people are now saying the White House is like an old folks' home. They need to look inside their own glass house, because inside that glass house, if the Biden administration or the Biden White House and the political team know what they're doing, that's a glass house, the Trump glass house, that's going to come crashing to the ground, because there's clip after clip after clip of this guy not even remembering, the most basic things.
And he doesn't give any evidence. Like right there would be the prime time to show clip after clip after clip of Donald Trump fumbling through his words, fighting with his teleprompter, forgetting his name, not knowing where he's at on stage, all these things, but they don't have it, folks. I'm not saying Donald Trump is perfect. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying he doesn't slip up every now and then. Look, when you're in front of the camera long enough, you're going to slip up on things. You're going to make mistakes. Hell, I do it all the time. But the thing is Joe Scarborough doesn't realize why people would ask Joe Biden, hey, what year did your son die? That's a pretty traumatic thing to happen to a parent, right? Is when your son or daughter passes away. And that, since it's very traumatic and a very important thing that happened in somebody's life, that you think you would be able to recall the date, the time, maybe the location, kind of what took place in the surroundings, because again, it's very traumatizing. As somebody that lost a father, I know the exact day, time, location about my father's death, because it was very traumatic. It was a big deal. It's important. And it's something that I will never forget for the rest of my life, unless I had dementia, unless I was in an old folks home. Joe Biden, dementia. Old folks home, calling it the White House. And this is the cleanup that the media are going to do. This is the antics that they're going to sit there and pull. And we're not even that much closer to election season than we were in December when they start pulling the shenanigans as well. It's going to get worse, folks. Now, the difference between MSNBC and CNN is at least MSNBC doesn't hide behind the fact that they're biased, where CNN does. CNN still thinks they are unbiased. They're the most trusted news out there, according to them, folks. So, wild stuff coming from Joe Scarborough. Just outlandish claims. This is also along the lines of the media going, oh, Trump's going to sit there and lock people up and start executing people in the streets. This is what they're saying. I promise you I'm not making that up. That's a real thing. Trump's going to just start gathering people up and executing them in the middle of Times Square. Look, even if, I'm not expecting you to believe me, but I mean, look, these are the same people that are saying Joe Biden's sharp. These are the same people saying, oh, Joe Biden's, his physical finesse is just, it's not comparable to anybody else. Like, he could beat out anybody. He could beat out an Olympic track star. Now, I added that a little fluff in there, but Joy Behar of The View goes, oh, he exercises every morning. Yeah, he's on top of his game. Okay. Karine Jean-Pierre, he's sharp as a tack. I've spent hours with him. He motivates me. He pushes me. He asks me questions. Yeah. Who are you? What are you doing in my bedroom? Mr. President, this is the Oval Office. And I'm Karine Jean-Pierre. When the hell did you get here? You hired me. Why? Because I was a diversity hire. Oh, okay. Mr. President, can you put some clothes on? Guy's deranged. He's off his rocker. Speaking of people that are deranged, we have a congresswoman here in the state of California, along with Adam Schiff, the other idiot. They're all idiots. Wanting $50 minimum wage. Yes. That I didn't mess up like Joe. No, you heard that correctly. The lady on the left wants a $50 an hour minimum wage. I haven't heard this yet. I've only heard about it. Let's roll it.
Thank you. Ms. Porter, thank you. Ms. Lee, you have the next question. Both of our Democratic opponents are calling for a minimum wage between $20 and $25 an hour. You're calling for a $50 an hour federal minimum wage. That's 7 times the current.
Did anybody almost spit out their coffee? I'm drinking tea. Holy Lordy. $50 an hour? Look, I've heard of outlandish things coming from the left, the Democrat Party. Y'all remember when Elizabeth Warren wanted to try to tax your unrealized gains? Yeah, let that one sink in. I mean, they just love shouting crazy nonsense. You're gonna die the next 12 years because of global warming. That's from AOC. You're 6 years in. You better start getting ready, folks. $50 an hour. Let's make it 100. I kid you not. Somewhere in our video catalog, there's a clip of me joking about this idea when they wanted to bump the federal minimum wage up to $15 or $20 an hour or something like that. And I said, well, why are we stopping at 20? Why don't we just go to 50? Why don't we just go to 100? Let's be real stupid. Let's make it a $200 hour minimum wage. I was joking. No longer is the Democrat Party the party of satire. It's just now real.
National minimum wage of $7.25 an hour. Can you explain how that would be economically sustainable for small businesses? You have 60 seconds.
First, let me say I owned and ran a small business for 11 years. I created hundreds of jobs, benefits, retirement benefits, also health care benefits. I know what worker productivity means, and that means that you have to make sure that your employees are taken care of and have a living wage. In the Bay Area, I believe it was the United Way, came out with a report that very recently, $127,000 for a family of 4 is just barely enough to get by. Another survey very recently, $104,000 for a family of 1, barely enough to get by. Low income because of the affordability crisis. And so just do the math. Just do the math. Of course, we have national minimum wages that we need to raise to a living wage. You're talking about $20, $25, fine. But I have got to be focused on what California needs and what the affordability factor is when we calculate this wage.
Ms. Lee, thank you.
Folks, this is called a moron. I am sorry, she is a moron. Well, I think state of California should get $50 minimum wage because in some areas, you need $50 to survive, to have a living wage. Lady, okay, not every locality is going to need a $50 minimum wage to survive. Everybody's livable wage is different. I know I'm preaching to a bunch of patriots here. I get it. I'm preaching to the choir. Y'all understand how all this works. They don't. They don't. They want a $50 an hour minimum wage. You guys, just give you an example. They just bumped certain franchises in fast food from $15 to $20 starting in April. There's some franchises that are saying, hey, we're going to go out of business because we can't incur this labor cost. We can't just pass it on to the consumer. So we're going to go out of business. She doesn't understand that she wants to take it from 20 to 50. Yeah, don't get me wrong. There's probably some areas that would need a $50 an hour minimum wage to survive. But guess what? You, with that living wage, probably shouldn't be living in an area that costs you that much money to live when you know you're not going to be able to live in that area on minimum wage. So guess what you do? I know it's not the answer people want to hear. I know, but you got to get up and move and go somewhere cheaper. If I wasn't able to afford where I live, do you guys think I would still be living here? Or do you think I would move somewhere cheaper? Okay, I have a long-term plan to move somewhere cheaper. I'm able to afford where I'm at right now. But we've gone so insane here on minimum wage and making it $25, $50. Why not make it $100? Why not be real stupid? Am I right here? Let me know in the live chat. Guys, are we on the same page with this of how insane this is? Folks, they don't even really grill the burgers at McDonald's anymore. It's a press that comes down. They take it, a frozen patty that was delivered to them. They didn't even chop up the damn thing. It's already frozen. They just slide it onto a grill and just pull it down. They don't even cook it. They don't even measure out the salt and pepper themselves anymore. It's just a pinch. They don't even sit there and fill up the soda anymore. It's all electronic. These idiots want $50 an hour, no joke, to scoop food onto your plate. That's worth $50 an hour, really. And then they wonder, well, that's not a living wage. Well, no wonder everything else is going to go up, because you're causing the price of everything else in the area to go up. And who the hell wants to pay $50 to a bunch of employees in an area that has smash and grabs, crime, insurance is through the roof, security's through the roof, your consumer goods are behind glass freaking panels and cages like coffee beans, coffee grinds, maple syrup. This is not a joke. This sounds so insane when I say it out loud. This is what's going on in the state of California. They have ketchup and mustard behind locked glass because there's like people stealing stuff. Lip balm, toothpaste, dental floss. These people go, well, I need this because of discrimination, because of racism out there. I deserve this because you're not giving me reparations. Why do you need dental floss? Well, I need to feed my family. With dental floss? With trash bags? Really? You need to feed your family with lip balm and toothpaste? That's what they say. That's what they say. Well, in some other not so good news, just continues. It just continues. The Senate passes $95 billion foreign aid bill despite opposition from over half of Republican senators. And we got the list of the senators that were on board here. You need to vote them out. They don't need to be here anymore. Why do I say that? Because they're willing to take care of other countries than they are ourselves. The Senate passed a $95 billion foreign aid bill early Tuesday morning to allocate money. Let's just see how much of this goes to the U.S. Let's see how much of American dollars, taxpayer dollars, go to actual Americans. Let's just do the numbers here. Let's see. It goes to Ukraine. Oh, okay. I saw you there. I thought it might have said United States. Israel. Oh, okay. I saw an I. United States. That doesn't work out. Taiwan. Oh, there's a T in states, but no, not United States. The bill was passed by 70 to 29 vote, with over half of the Senate Republicans voting against the measure. So let's go a little bit deeper here. Where's all the money? $95 billion. Come on, come on. The aid package allocates $61 billion to Ukraine, $14 billion for Israel. So what is that? 75 right there. You have $4.83 billion to U.S. Oh, I saw U.S., but not us. Nope, nope, nope. Just our allies in the Indo-Pacific, and over $9 billion in global humanitarian aid. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Carry the 1, carry the 3. Yeah, it's not really working out in our favor so much. It sounds like we're getting shafted from behind once again, you guys. So we're worried about everybody else's national security, but how are they going to spin it here? Oh, forgive me. No, us spending $95 billion on other countries is for our national security. Gotcha. Okay. So $61 billion plus 14.9, carry the 2, minus divided by sign, $95 billion plus interest. Sounds like we got a good deal. Sounds like we got a great deal. Of course, I'm being facetious. We got freaking screwed again. It's certainly been years, perhaps decades, since the Senate has passed a bill that so greatly impacts not just our national security. Oh, really? Not just the security of our allies, but the security of Western democracy. Now, there's only one moron that could really spin something about us virtually spending nothing on our own national security and making the claim that it's not just for our own national security, but for the security of others, and that's Chuck Schumer. This guy's an idiot, but leave it up to New Yorkers to vote for dumbasses like this in the Senate all the time. And look, New Yorkers, if you're Republican out there, hey, I'm with you. I live in the state of California. We voted in morons like Adam Schiff. We voted in that guy. I didn't vote for him. But other knuckleheads did, called Democrats, who voted Nancy Pelosi. Other knuckleheads voted her rather, and as Democrat. So, like, I get it. AOC, same person. Ilhan Omar, same thing. I don't know why I said same person. Folks, I'm sick. I'm using that as an excuse. It's true, I am sick. I'm on my deathbed. I got throat coat drinking out of the Bellberry mug. No coffee. That's another thing. No coffee. How am I supposed to wake up in the morning? So they're going to spin this and say, don't worry, you guys. You're all safe and protected with this $95 billion going to everybody else. The same country, by the way, that funneled money to Hunter Biden, allegedly. And the big guy, Joe Biden, which Bobolinsky just told everybody that Joe Biden is the big guy. That was news yesterday. Yes, you heard that correctly. A Biden associate, Biden family associate, if that's what you want to call him, Bobolinsky, sat there and said that Joe Biden, he testified, oath, that Joe Biden's a big guy. Now, we already knew that, but Ukraine was being looked under the hood on, meaning basically the entire country, by a prosecutor named Shokin. Now, Shokin was not just looking into a bunch of corruption in Ukraine, but he was also looking in specifically a natural gas company called Burisma Holdings that Joe Biden's son was on the board of, when Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, knew jack shit about natural gas, which was being proposed by Shokin, going, how are you on a natural gas board when you don't know jack bleep about natural gas? Like, what are you doing here? And by the way, why is your business partner Devin Archer on the board as well? Why was Devin Archer on the board before you were? Why are you trying to make connections between Burisma Holding and the United States when your father was vice president? What's going on here? And what happened? Well, we know what happened because it's on tape. A quid pro quo. And there's some loosey-goosey stuff where maybe it wasn't, because we don't know what Joe Biden got in return, because nobody wants to look under the hood anymore. Well, the clip was Joey, when he was somewhat senile, when he somewhat knew what was going on, going, oh, if you don't fire the prosecutor Shokin that's looking at my son and his business dealings as well as my family, then you're not getting the $1 billion. So what happened? They fired Shokin. We played the recordings. We played the recordings that they fired him for no reason, other than the fact they wanted the $1 billion. So Joe Biden got away with it on freaking camera in the same way Barack Obama gets away with all his illegal things that took place when they were in emails. In the same way Hillary Clinton gets let go for doing her shenanigans with the bleach bit, having, classified information on a server in her bathroom, all these other things. Donald Trump pays a parking ticket a few days late, grand jury. It's amazing how it all works out. And what's also amazing is, when you look at this, you guys, this country right here called Ukraine, stole $40 million. Yeah, 40 with an M as in million. We just don't know where it went. Meaning we're sending them $95 billion in foreign aid. And the White House was questioned on, hey, well, how do we make sure this stuff's actually utilized the way it's supposed to be utilized? I kid you not. The White House's response is, well, we sent them a memo. Well, we put a memo out on how this stuff should be allocated. So the memo just addressed on how things should be allocated based on procedures of how things were already supposed to be allocated, even though they sat there and gave you the double middle finger and stole $40 million that we know about, and nothing's been done. Folks, this foreign aid bill, please understand that this does not all go to military. When you see Ukraine, it is not going towards like, oh, let's give them missiles and tanks and ammo and all this other stuff. Partially it is. Partially it's going to their education system, supplies, administration. So understand that we're giving people and basically funding other people's countries at this point through our hard-earned money. And I also want to address this because it really gets me riled up. How is it we're so willing just to write off a $95 billion check for other countries all the time, but we can't even sit there and allocate money to actually protect our own borders? That's my question. Oh, and we'll get to it because it comes up later here in the article. These are the senators right here, folks. Look for your state. Look for your state, folks. What's surprising is there's a name that we recognize that we've talked a lot about here, and that's because of the 1023 form. Chuck Grassley right here was in favor of this. Susan Collins was in favor of this. John Kennedy, Murkowski, Lisa Murkowski, Dan Sullivan. I would start calling these people up and say they made a big old mistake because they love taking care of other people, just like the Democrats do. They don't like taking care of Americans. They say they will, but this bill proves otherwise. The bill was opposed by conservative senators who had pushed for funding to prioritize the border crisis and the influx of illegal immigrants in the United States. Americans are going to hold people accountable that chose to move on from border security and fund foreign nations before we took care of our own homes. Thank you, Marshall. Somebody has their head on straight that's echoing exactly what we're talking about here. This morning, the America Last caucus, yes, got a $61 billion aid package out of the Senate, but they paid dearly for this small win. The House won't pass the current bill. Well, we hope not. We'll see what happens with that. We must fix our country before devoting more resources to Ukraine. That's our message, and the fight goes on. JD Vance is speaking truth, folks. You got Mr. Howley criticizing McConnell for backing the aid package. Folks, how many times have I said McConnell needs to be out? If we're going to sit there and beat up Joe Biden for having a lapse of memory, drooling on the microphone while he's trying to give a speech, passing out on a 60-minute interview, doesn't know where he's at, can we call out the fact that Mitch McConnell isn't all there either? The fact that he just freezes. Like, nobody's going to sit there and bring it up on the Republican side. I will. I don't give a shit. I'm a dude in my closet. I ain't sit there and be holded by a corporation. I'll say whatever the hell I want. Mitch McConnell, get your shit together because you suck right now. I said it. Most Senate Republicans vote no. McConnell, of course, votes with the Democrats. Lately, he has been a little bit Democrat-y, hasn't he? Yeah, he's been a little blue, folks. He hasn't been that much red. He's been blue in the face, man. I'm telling you, the guy's on the freaking brink of death. He's Biden's chief foreign policy supporter these days. That position is an island, and the gulf between it and the rest of America is only getting wider. Nearly every Republican senator under the age of 55 voted no on this America Last bill. 15 out of 17 elected since 2018 voted no. Things are changing, just not fast enough. So this is the idea that this old generation is basically not putting Americans first, which is something that is odd to me, because these are talking about basically the baby boomers, those that came from one of the, or out of the greatest generation. And you would think that they would put America first because of their family members, usually their father, that actually fought in World War II, whether it was in the Pacific or it was in Germany, all these other places. Like, you would think that they would put America first, but that's not what's happening. That's not what's happening. So you have House Speaker Mike Johnson at least speaking up a little bit, saying silent on the most pressing issues facing our country. The mandate on national security supplemental legislation was to secure America's own border, before sending additional foreign aid around the world. So rather than taking care of our home country that's being invaded with 10 million plus illegal immigrants, of which we showed tape that Joe Biden wants to give amnesty to all of them. Yes, if you missed that episode, folks, that's why I hope that you keep up with the Bald Brad Show. I'm not saying we're the best show, but we do sneak in little gems here and there. We showed tape about 2 weeks ago of Joe Biden saying that he wants to give amnesty, not just to the illegal immigrants that came in under his administration, but to every illegal immigrant that's in this country. That's around 25 million people. That's more population than half of our states. We go, Brad, well, aren't there 350 million? Yes, but that 350 million is distributed everywhere. So a lot of that is on the coastal states. When you take the population of like the middle states and all you do the finagling and stuff like that, that's more than half of the population of our states, you guys. And the Democrats have been playing this long game for a decade, maybe a little bit longer, probably since the Clinton years. And Joe Biden just blew the lid right off of it. So rather than getting our border wall, rather than actually building something that's going to stop the bleeding, meaning allowing these people just to pour across the border, we get shafted once again. This better be dead in the House. I'll be pissed if it's not. I'm going to lose my ish. Well, speaking of illegal immigration, you got the magnets, Brett. You got the magnets. If you don't, a lot of people are probably looking at me like, what the hell is he talking about? This dude, Alejandro Mayorkas, the DHS secretary, sat there. We'll come to this because I got to tell you this. This dude, Alejandro Mayorkas, told Jim Jordan in Congress, the border's secure, Jim. The border's secure. When it wasn't secure, right? We're having like 10,000 people plus pour across the border every single day. And Jim's like, well, hey, we got terrorists pouring across the border. We counted like 48 of them. I forgot the exact number. It's like 24, 48 or something like that. And he goes, do you know where these terrorists are at? Pretty important question, right? Dude didn't have a clue. I'm going to have to get back to you on that. I don't know where they're at. And it blew everybody's mind. The guy doesn't know where terrorists are at in this country. 24 hours later, less than 24, he's on Brett Meyer's show at Fox News. Brett asks him the same question, and he can't answer it. And he goes on about these magnets. I will tell you about the magnets, Brett. The magnets is what you really want to talk about because the magnets are the ones that smuggle the drugs and the sex trafficking. And so he's trying to spin it. So that's why I always make the joke of the magnets, Brett, the magnets, because this guy's an idiot. He is. That's the guy running the show. He sucks. Well, House impeaches Mayorkas after second attempt. You're damn right. It's about time. Hey, you know what? If it wasn't the second, we had to hope out. We had to hope for the third. Forgive me for drinking, folks. I know it's not polite, but one, we get to market our mug. I got a Bobby at your mug, but also I need the throat coat, folks, or else we're going to start hacking up a storm here. We're going to sound like a person on cigarettes. In the second attempt, followed a failed attempt last week, House Republicans managed on Tuesday to impeach Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas over his handling of the border crisis with the return of Majority Leader Steve Scalise. Now, watch how close this vote was. Members voted 214 to 213 to approve a resolution that made Mayorkas the first cabinet secretary to be impeached since 1876. 3 GOP lawmakers broke ranks and joined all voting Democrats. Yeah, you're damn right we're going to highlight their names. Same as they did with the first vote last week, so they didn't learn their lesson. All right, folks, look for your state here. I see mine. I'll be making some phone calls. You got Ken Buck, Colorado, who lives in Colorado here. You got a phone call to make today. Tom McClintock, I got a phone call to make. Republican of California. I'm dead serious. I'll be making a phone call. I don't think this is one of those things of like me just saying it. No, I'm gonna follow through on this shit. Mike Gallagher was at Wisconsin. Is WI Wisconsin? Anybody in here? Call Mike up. Tell him he lost his vote right there. Each party had 2 members who did not vote. I don't get the whole not voting thing. I mean, sometimes I do because we just lump everything in a giant package. But why would you not vote to impeach this guy? Like, what is your logic? You know what I mean? He's lied like multiple times to Congress under oath. Like, how are you going to say the border's secure when you have 10 fucking million people pouring across? I mean, when was the last time you even saw a war where 10 million people poured across, or like 300? Folks, when Putin invaded Ukraine, it was with 120,000 troops. In the month of December, Joe Biden allowed like 320,000 people to pour across our border. That's, yeah, you can do the math, yes. That's almost 3 times the amount that Putin used to invade a fucking country. I don't mean to cuss, but it's insane. I did a short and said, hey, how is it that Putin invades Ukraine with 120,000 troops, and that's an invasion, but yet we have like 300,000 every month, and that's not an invasion at all? Makes sense to me, but clearly it doesn't make sense to Democrats. I don't know why should. I mean, hell, they vote for people like, I don't know, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Adam Schiff, Chuck Schumer, Ilhan Omar, Nancy Pelosi, AOC. Look, I'm sure there's some middle-of-the-road Democrats out there that voted for middle-of-the-road Democrats during the Senate and House. I mean, they all can't be extremely far left. But what the hell? Like, I'm at least able to say, hey, you know what? Some of these Republicans are a little far out there for me. But the amount of Democrats I see in the outlandish stuff that they say is wild. So that's what happened. At least we got some good news out of that. And lastly, we got a little bit of drama. A little bit of drama for y'all. Now, if you recall, let me get this a little bit better view for y'all. If you recall, about a month ago, I want to say it's a month, time goes by fast, there was this story that came out, and I think it was from Axios and kind of spotted by Fox News and stuff like that, of this headbutting and jealousy between John Kirby and Karine Jean-Pierre. We called it the White House drama. And basically what was happening was Karine was getting upset, the diversity hire, you know, the person doesn't have her head on straight either and can't answer anybody's questions, but she's clear all the time and transparent. She goes and loses her shit because John Kirby is getting to share the podium with her and he's getting more time than she is. And she's also upset because John Kirby is getting in-person briefs from the president where she's not. And supposedly, allegedly, the report is that John Kirby's the favorite. And guess who just got a promotion this week? John Kirby got a promotion. Karine didn't get a promotion. Oh, no, she didn't. So, with that being said, they don't like each other. John Kirby's frustrated by Karine Jean-Pierre's role in his briefings amid ongoing tension. Oh, it's getting spicy. So John Kirby is reportedly frustrated by White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre's role calling on reporters during his press briefings. I said this. I've said this before. Why is she, we have a picture of her doing it, why is she calling on reporters for him? I thought that was weird as hell. And to go a little bit further in depth of what I said, that's a power move. She wants to be the one in control. She wants to be the one going, oh, look at me. You're below me. So I've always thought there had to be something more to this, and clearly there is. Clearly there is. Tension between the two White House officials. Quote, Mr. Kirby had privately acknowledged, when asked, that he would one day like to be named press secretary. That's not anything new. We already knew that. And he has expressed frustration that Miss Jean-Pierre picked the reporters who asked him questions at briefings, citing people they interviewed from the article. I would imagine, and honestly, rightfully so, that he would be a little bit frustrated with that because he's capable of at least pointing and saying, hey, you in the front row, you can ask your question now. Why the hell is she doing it? Kirby has been appearing alongside Jean-Pierre relatively often since Hamas's October 7th terrorist attack. Folks, the tension is so tight. And I actually knew about this, and it caught my kind of my feelers when I was watching yesterday's White House press briefing, which we're not covering it because there was honestly nothing really said. And hopefully I'll elaborate that on the last part of today's episode because it was kind of frustrating. When I say, like, if you look at the time of the briefing, it is almost perfectly 50% John Kirby, 50% Karine Jean-Pierre. It's, I swear, I don't have any proof of this. It almost seems like somebody is in that room keeping the time. I mean, it's only like a few minutes off, you guys. It may be less than that of her time spent versus John Kirby. So there's something going on behind the scenes. They seem all nice in front of everybody, but no. They hate each other. So Kirby was officially promoted again on Sunday to a role that will put him in charge of coordinating communications across several agencies. The question here is, does that put him above Karine Jean-Pierre? Does that put John Kirby as Karine Jean-Pierre's boss? If so, we might see some changes happening here in that White House briefing room, which maybe, just maybe, we might get a little bit more clarity, a little bit, not much, just a little bit more clarity from this administration. The U.S. official said John Kirby's new title will be a White House National Security Advisor, elevating him from deputy assistant up to assistant to the president, which I mentioned in yesterday's episode. In the new role, Kirby will direct a small team separate from the National Security Council's press office. He evinces a clarity and comfort at the lectern that could sometimes elude Ms. Jean-Pierre 49, a more raw public speaker with less experience tussling with an adversarial press. It's the times I said that, you guys. Does anybody feel like the press is adversarial? And you know what? I was going to save this for the last bit of the show. When I watched that briefing, you guys, it was all about the aid package. You know, I get it. But there wasn't really any questions about, and for those on audio, I'm pointing to my head, about Joe Biden's head. We forgot about it. That's not important news anymore. How is that not still like the number one news in the world? The fact that you had somebody come out and say that that guy basically isn't fit to hold office. He's not fit to stand jury. He's not fit to take questions from somebody. So if he's not fit to stand trial, if he's not fit to be in front of a jury, if he's not fit to be asked basic questions, what's your name, Joe? When was the last time you went doo-doo? He may or may not say right now. Maybe he shouldn't be fit to hold office of the president of the United States. How about that? But they don't ask that question today. It was like, and I can't blame Jackie or Phil. Why'd he say, Brad? Because now for the second day in a row, she hasn't called on them. So how can Jackie or Phil, Wonder Woman and Gladiator, ask questions when they don't get called on? Now, what I will say, I need you all to read between the lines. I put our message out there for our listeners, the patriots out there, the ones that are always in the live chat, always join us every video. You know this. We know that some people watch that show. What I'm saying right now is we put it out there that reporters need to start asking questions, having Joe Biden recall information from the past. I stated specifically, if they do that and they catch Joe, that video is going viral because it makes the connection to what was stated that he's not all there and that his brain ain't working. But they need to be able to get in front of him to do that. That's the thing. And the White House is hiding it, which is the biggest cover-up I think we've had 20 years, maybe 10. Massive cover-up going on. That you have a dude in the White House that isn't all there. Howley said as much as other senators and congressmen have said as well. So at a May 2022 reception on the Truman balcony, ooh, this is good, I don't know about this, held in honor of Miss Psaki's departure, thank God she's out. I mean, I know some of you are missing her, but she was terrible too. Mr. Biden was speaking with a group of aides when he tried to reassure Ms. Jean-Pierre not to worry about filling Miss Psaki's shoes, according to two people with direct knowledge. I'm sure, well, one, Joe doesn't remember that conversation at all. Hell, he doesn't even know when his own son died. But, I mean, really, Joe, you're going to reassure that she couldn't fill her own shoes? She sucks, Joe. There was rumors that she was going to be out a year ago. So maybe the reporting was just off. The reporting was that she was going to be out when Joe Biden basically launched his campaign again, and it was going to be around April of last year. Now, I've always speculated maybe they're referring to April of this year. We'll have to see, but I'm also hearing rumors that Joe Biden's going to drop out in March. So if he drops out in March, that could give speculation and credibility to her not wanting to continue and dropping out in April. So this has been kind of trying to piece this puzzle piece together of rumors that are happening behind the scenes at the White House. That's why you got to watch the show, folks. Just because we're small here doesn't mean we don't got sources and connections all around. Okay? Some of the stuff seems like I'm just joking, but I'm dead actual serious. Dead ass. I'm sorry we're going so far in length on this, folks, but this is good stuff here. I love the juicy. I love the drama. I can't help it. Admiral Kirby is an excellent colleague, and I'm proud to work with him. I've enjoyed getting to know him and have great respect for his service to our country. His military experience and the work he's done as part of the national security team have been immensely helpful to the White House, particularly with 2 ongoing conflicts around the world, Jean-Pierre said in a statement. Kirby similarly praised Jean-Pierre as a groundbreaking, trailblazing professional and a role model. Shit, come on. It says it. Yeah, you can see for yourself. We highlighted it. Yeah, no, he really said that. Groundbreaking. I can't even get it out of my mouth. Groundbreaking, trailblazing, professional, and role model. Yeah, there's no way he believes it, right? Who would? You guys, we shouldn't be shocked that he's saying things like this. We shouldn't be shocked that they're kissing each other's ass. These are the same people that say Joe Biden's a role model, that Joe Biden's sharp, Joe Biden challenges them, Joe Biden questions them on things. What room am I? What's my name? What's today's date? No, it's really hardball questions coming from the president. I don't know anyone more dedicated to a task of explaining the goals of this administration. Okay. It's a privilege to be in her company, to watch her work, and to learn from her. I'm lucky to get to do that every day. Who wrote this for you, John? Who wrote? Was this a staffer? There's no way that's John Kirby. John, come on. John, please. Who wrote that? Holy crap. Jean-Pierre and Kirby have split the podium in the White House press room more frequently since the Israel-Hamas war. Why? Because she sucks at her job, and somebody told Joey, somebody ratted on Karine Jean-Pierre, because Joe's not aware of what goes on. You guys, again, we got to understand this. Joe Biden isn't fit to stand trial. Joe Biden cannot be in the defense box. He can't take questions. He don't know what year he was vice president. He doesn't know what years he was senator. You saw him the other day just get lost on stage again. He had one place to stand and he couldn't do it. There's markers on the ground. And as I said, there's a guy in the background going, Joe, over there, Joe, over there, Joe. I want somebody to get a photo of like this, his ears. What's inside his ears? Who's talking to him? Now, some might say there's nothing in his ears and who's talking to him. Dead people, because Joe's also said he talked to Mitterrand. Who is, what, the president of France or whatever the hell you call him? Dead. Joe's talking to dead people. So he's talking to dead people. He's putting around the White House as if it's an old folks' home. Looking to find somebody to play chess with him, which I don't know why he's playing chess. He doesn't know the rules of the game. But there's some drama for you, folks. My nose is running. I got a fever. Got to be animated for you. I'll give you the show you want, baby. Show you want. But there's the news. Just to do a little brief recap, okay, please, because some of you came in late. Joe Scarborough works overtime to defend gaping holes in Biden memory. The dude didn't know when his own mother passed away, and he's connecting that to Joe Biden when Joe Biden should know when his son passed away. Both are idiots. You also have California congresswoman, can't really see her too well. She's in the yellow there, asking for $50 an hour minimum wage in the state of California because their brains don't work. Then you also have the Senate passing a $95 billion foreign aid bill, despite opposition from over half of Republican senators. And I want to make sure I get this right before the show ends. The Senate understands the responsibilities of Americans' national security and will not neglect them, McConnell said after the vote. He settles, blah, blah, blah. There we go. Join the measure. So I was kind of worried there, thinking about it as I was rambling, that these people did not join the Democrats, but they in fact did. So there you go again. Look for your senator. Give him a nice little phone call today and tell them they lost the vote. And then we also have Mayorkas being impeached after the second attempt. So that's good news. And then we had drama in the White House between, or more drama rather, the continued drama between Karine Jean-Pierre and John Kirby. Folks, sick or not, we got an episode out for the second day in a row. We're going to do some quick editing here. We're going to get this bad boy uploaded for y'all, and then we're going sleepy just like Joey. Gonna go night-night with a nice little brisk warm glass of milk. With that being said, folks, if you want to become a patriot, we have fun. Do we not have fun here on the show? We have a good time. We get pissed. We get emotional. We have jokes. We got the energy in the morning together as a community. If you want to become an American patriot, there's a join tab. Your hard-earned money's going to somebody at least is like-minded and loves this country. And rather than giving your hard-earned money to some foreign country, it's going into the pocket of an American patriot, myself, to try and upgrade the show, pay for advertising, get people out there to hopefully become patriots themselves. And if you want to go above and beyond, we do have a thank you tab down here. And what that allows you to do is donate money per video, $2, $5, whatever you want to do. Please don't feel like you have to do that. You just being here, hanging out with a community of like-minded people, patriots that love this country, is more than enough, folks. And with that being said, I'll see you tomorrow here on the Bolt Branch.